Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and a replay between Roxkis Titan versus TSL's Hyun here on Metropolis Game 1 in a series. I am looking forward to this. And first of all, I want to apologize for all of you guys who have been looking for more and more commentary from me. I know there's been a lot of Diablo 2 content out there. I did make some StarCraft content, but unfortunately, my sound drivers all of a sudden decided to give out. I had like an hour and a half worth of StarCraft 2 and Warcraft 3 content, and it had no commentary whatsoever. Let's take a look into the game. We're going to have Titan spawning as the green Protoss player here on the top side of the map, placing down a low ground pylon. Another thing that you guys might notice, I did try to up game sounds a little bit more. So let me know if you guys like that as well. Titan versus Hyun here on Metropolis. One thing I will note, this version of Metropolis does have the islands. So these expansions will be important. I believe the MLG version did take them out. This is the ESL version, and there are actually rocks instead of creep tumors. Something that I do definitely agree with, as the creep tumors just made it much easier for Zerg to try to take that expansion as opposed to any other race. So far, Titan just chrono boosting out. It looks like he is going to be going for a Forge fast expansion. Nothing too out of the ordinary here. Meanwhile, this is going to be cross spawn, and it looks like Hyun may be trying to go for a greedy 17 hatch. Nope, gonna go for that standard 15 hatch here. The strategy will depend on whether or not he continues to drone up, or if he just waits for that spawning pool. Time will tell there. It looks like he is going to be droning up back up to 16, so it's going to be a 15 hatch 16 spawning pool here on Metropolis. The probe did take a quick look around, went up the ramp, saw that there was no creep, and then decided to come down on over here. He will catch the hatchery as the probe just wanders around, and oh, this is gonna be huge. We could have some forge antics here as the probe now comes inside the space. The probe does see that low ground pylon. The pylon is down over here, and this is going to be huge, as there is just a little bit of room right here to place down photon cannons. And yes, there is going to be 1 and 2 photon cannons. This is going to be huge, folks, as it is going to limit the amount of surface area. And now, what is going to happen as the probe's now trying to come back down here? We could get more photon cannons. There's one, there's another. Are we going to perhaps get another pylon is the question. Another photon cannon off over here, perhaps another cannon here. This may be an issue as Titan trying to do some forge and just strategies, and this is going to be a definite issue. The drones down over here are not attacking, as they now need to perhaps mineral mine all the way through. There is no way to get up sight onto that high ground. There's a spine crawler already being added, so Hyun doing a great job. And all we need to perhaps see now is some sight up onto the side ground. That photon cannon, that double photon cannon should be exactly what you need. There is the photon cannon already up. Photon cannons trying to be placed down. Drones coming over. Zerglings now trying to make their way down. But with double photon cannons, this is going to be huge. Hyun had the perfect response, but maybe a little bit too late as a spine crawler now poking at this one photon cannon here. Drones need to make sure to take down this one particular pylon. If this pylon does go down, there's very limited sight up onto the high ground. And yes, Hyun with a perfect response here, doing a great job, will be able to shut down all of these cannons. And the Queen with a range of 5 also getting in on the action as well. Let's take a look at the other side. Titan is now setting up his nexus. He is a little bit ahead in the overall economic run. Hyun was forced to train up a lot more Zerglings than he wanted to, and he was also forced to pull a lot of drones. So income is actually going to be a little bit hurt. You can take a look at the spending higher on technology. Army was higher for Zerg. Let's take a look at the total losses. Protoss losing out just a little bit more, but nothing too out of the ordinary. We all expected that. We are now going into double gas from Titan. Titan also has a lot of energy saved up on his Nexus. Not sure why he's not chrono boosting out probes. He does have the supply for it now. He was supply blocked for a short amount of time. There you go. Now chrono boosting out probes. He's going to have a whole bunch of energy to use. Train up a whole bunch of probes. And we are getting 4 probes into this extractor. Titan may regret that a little bit later. This is already a tight enough race. Third base now being established by Hyun here at the low ground location. These rocks still need to be destroyed. Still chrono boosting out more and more probes still. It looks like, yes, it is going to be 3 and 2. So Titan, for some reason, not getting up that third probe on that gas there. We are going into the Cybernetics core, as I mentioned. No warp gate tech. Also, no level 1 weapons upgrade, so the transition may end up being a Stargate. Now, normally this would work out fairly well, but because Zerg Queens have the increased range, a lot of Queens or a lot of Zerg players have felt more comfortable training up more Queens. And in getting those additional Queens, it handles both, small Stalker armies and also any Void Ray pressure. Stargate now coming in here. Will Hyun have the proper response? That is going to be key, as we now see that there is an Overlord trying to fly away. Most likely, yeah, that Stargate is hidden off over here. We are still running off of 2 gas here, getting up another assimilator here and here as well. Titan is going to be blocked on gas for a short while. Probe now making its way down into the 3rd base. It will spot this hatchery, which is very important. Spotting that hatchery, Hyun knows that this Void Ray pressure should be pretty successful unless there is going to be a large number of Queens. We are getting already a 3rd Queen here. Hyun probably needs about 5 Queens. And if he doesn't get that 5th, doesn't get those 5 Queens, Void Rays and Phoenixes will be able to shut down all of these Queens, especially as there is no connection between this base here and this base. Without a creep highway, without these rocks destroyed, it is just simply far, way too far, as now a spine crawler making its way all the way across the map to root itself here on this creep. So far, chrono boosting out a lot of Phoenixes. We are seeing 15 drones being trained at a time. Zerg just going to catapult in terms of economy. Titan sitting at 52 supply. Hyun sitting at 62, so Hyun still has the advantage there. But it's really going to come down to that pressure. We are going into the Phoenixes now. We can see that we are morphing into tech to tier 2. We are going into evolution chamber and a Roach Warren. Not double evolution chamber as I originally thought. And Hyun, I guess going for a heavy Roach, wants to be on the aggressive. That's the only reason why to go heavy Roaches now. Queens are as good of a defensive unit, so Hyun may be trying to come back and then just simply charge in on the front door with very heavy Roaches. The Roaches, however, are not going to have Glio reconstitution for a little while longer, and these Phoenixes are going to make Hyun be much more defensive. There's only 1 Queen here, and that is going to be the issue. The Queen now trying to fight back. Drones are getting taken down. There is natural regeneration on those drones, forcing 3 shots as the Queen now getting picked up. This is exactly what I was talking about. Hyun didn't respond well enough, and now with Phoenixes making their way over, the Queen is going to go after some drones. Apparently, my daughter decided to climb out of bed and knock on my door. So a little bit of a shock there from Honey, as I believe Arya is going to want to see what I'm doing. All right, so Titan now pressuring with these 5 Phoenixes, going to be able to take on a lot of drones here, but there is 1 Spore Crawler. Spore Crawlers are backing away, and I really believe if there was a lot of Queens, this wouldn't be an issue. Queens don't take Larva, would be able to handle these Zealots, and Titan is just going to be able to take down all of these Spine Crawlers. Queens are perfect defensive units now, as the drones and the Zerglings getting into a fight. Phoenix is trying to make their way over. There is still 1 Queen here. There is Spore Crawlers, and now the Zealots charging in and taking down this one particular Spore Crawler. Spore Crawler does have 1 armor. Zerglings and Queens still battling it out. That Queen does have a range of 5, as it's going to get picked up and now sniped down. It is going to be 2 bases versus 2 bases. So far it is 55 drones versus 50 probes. There is 18 worker kills. That is absolutely huge, as Hyun is in a bit of trouble. He will end up losing this 3rd base. And what is Titan's follow-up? Titan's follow-up is going to be Immortals, which would be the perfect unit, as there are a lot of Roaches on the field. Roaches and Hydralisks. The Roach is going to finish off all of these Zealots here. Superior numbers. Phoenix is now trying to make their way over. This 1 Roach could have been microed and be saved. Warp Prism now coming in on the backside as well. So Titan following up this great play with some awesome Warp Prism play. The Zealots just running straight in. The Zealots have level 1 weapons upgrade. Gonna take down the Queen. And this is just great pressure. Titan with a great follow-up plan here, now going to take down the Spore Crawlers, knowing that the Spore Crawlers, once they are gone, the Phoenixes will be able to get back in and do more harassment. The Roaches now trying to make their way in. Zealots trying to take down the Lair. Lair will not fall anytime soon, as the Lair just has simply too many hit points. The Warp Prism says, see you, I am out of here. And what is going to go down? No, where are the Roaches going? The Roaches are deciding not to engage, as we now see Phoenixes going into this base here, taking down more and more Hydralisks. A new Spore Crawler trying to be established. The Zealots could just go after the Spore Crawler here, as now we see the GG coming in from Hyun. Hyun not responding well enough to Titan's very early, very aggressive style. That pylon cannon in the early game did a lot of economic damage by forcing drones to not mine. And once that happened, Titan was able to establish up his expansion much more quickly. Also, Titan not going for the extra queens. I can't stress this enough. Extra queens, so good in the early game. They don't cost gas. They don't cost larva. It doesn't hurt your economy to get them as much anymore. And they are both good against Zealots, Stalkers, Phoenixes, and Void Rays. Any sort of harassment that the Protoss player could have done short of Dark Templars, which you then are obviously go for Spore Crawlers anyways. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed Game 1.